small one.
I didn't see it way up there.
Like
Yeah.
the
WRRG.
Oh, okay.
And you should come up.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
tunein.com.
Makes it
One
the
word
way it
T-U-N-E-I.
sounds. And then it resonates with the skin. They make one with plastic too, but
I just wrote a program that will schedule recordings.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, this is tunable?
And I have a, oh, so you can record that with it. I have a stick, which I will stick in.
Peter, do you want to?
Okay.
I'm gonna go stand back.
And you just want me to press play?
No, no, it's going right
Okay.
now. So I think we're on focus. So it's okay.
I gotcha.
So we're okay.
And I'm gonna hit record here so it starts recording
That's fine.
on the stick.
Yeah, I will. And don't worry, you're like to me, like you're saying, that's me. You're one of the
WRG, you said?
talents, so I'm nervous too.
Tune in.
WRRG.
Yeah, tunein.com.
Sid, do you want this wig? I realized I wore a black shirt, so I put the orange wig in. Sid, do you want this for your video or not?
It's not going to matter because it's just going to be stand unless you like poke your head. You know, if you do
Oh,
this
you're
like
gonna be
this.
there?
This is
Yeah,
I thought you
radio.
were going to be here.
No, you're going to be here, I think.
I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
Wait, who's going to be where?
Jason's here.
I see Jason.
Jason's here.
I mean, you guys can, well, the mic won't go much further, but you can,
Yeah, Art, you can come in. Why don't you come in, Art?
Yeah.
Come in.
because the mic's faced this way, so
Come in.
that way you're in.
Yeah. Come in, and if I hit you, you know, it'll,
Then I go, ow!
yeah. I mean, literally, what I could do is.
Okay, the disc is recording now. And now I'm going to do the ID, and then we'll go into this track. So. WRRG, Triton College Radio, 88.9 FM, River Grove. Coming up, music live from Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen. After this track, we're going to hear from their live on WZRD CD. This is a song called Where's Walgreens? Here on A Joyful Noise. I'll just cue something up in the background if we ever need it. It's always good to have something.
Yeah, that's fine. So think, I just so,
I have.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, so.
I'll just follow.
It seems to be. Okay. Okay, it's gonna last
Say, Sart, where's Walgreens?
What? Walmart? Who?
Walgreens, where's Walgreens?
Who knows? Who knows?
About 2.5 minutes. There's another one. 571.
There you go.
That didn't work?
No, I mean, if they actually have the,
Six four.
yeah, with the port number.
Right.
Dapper John, can you tell me how to get to Walgreens?
I can tell you how to get
There is
to
another place I know besides Tune In. There's another one. One's more Mac oriented, and one's more PC oriented.
Okay.
If you search like WRRG, you might just find the stream WRRG. And the one I have trouble working with all Macs, PCs.
Yeah, I was looking at the quote.
I'm still recording on the stick, so you can always plug it in when it's done and pull it from there.
Yeah, let's do that.
Say there, young man with the nice straw hat. Can you tell me how to get to Walgreens?
Coming to mic up here in a
You
second.
can't help me?
30 seconds. You're listening to music from Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen from a live on WRRG CD from 2011, the song called Where's Walgreens, here on The Joyful Noise. And now I have the group live in the studio, ready to perform a number for you, which, what are we going to hear to start things off?
We're going to hear Spaceship For Sale.
Okay, very good. This is Spaceship For Sale from Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen on The Joyful Noise. All right, music from Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen. And the name of that piece again for our audience?
It was called Spaceship For Sale.
Okay, Spaceship For Sale. You're tuned to A Joyful Noise. If you have any questions or comments for the band or any requests you want to make, you can call us at 708-583-3110. Do you want to go into another number or talk a little about the group?
Let's do another number.
Just to get warmed up?
Yeah.
Okay. What are we going to hear now?
We are going to hear, let's see. We're going to hear one called Breathe.
Breathe. All right. So it's Breathe from Sid Yiddish. You're on A Joyful Noise. Sorry, I have a cold tonight, so I have that really deep Jim Ladd LA voice going on. But,
That big deep voice.
Right. Big deep set of pipes.
Yeah.
You're on A Joyful Noise. Take it away. Breathe here on A Joyful Noise from Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen. So how long has the band been going?
Since December 2010. Our first gig we played at a place that's no longer around. It's a 1901 Gallery over there on Wolcott and Belmont. And actually, Yitn Mitn Fidl was, he's one of the founding members. So we had 6 guys, and we had an aging female German Shepherd, and it was really grand, and that's how we started.
Joe and Jenny's venue, right? The 1901?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know Joe and Jenny.
Yeah.
And you want to introduce all the members?
Absolutely. Well, who we have tonight, we have on violin, and for those out in Radio Land who cannot see this, he's wearing an orange wig and fatigues. This is Yitn Mitn Fidl on violin. And then, of course, our illustrious on foot, keyboard, and toy piano. We've heard him so far. This is Dr. Nothing. And how could a gig go wrong without go right without a guy by the name of Dennis the Menace on wooden flutes and percussion? And then our newest member, who we initiated a couple weeks ago on a nationally syndicated program. This is yes, this is yes, he did well. He did very well. This is a white Rye the Plumber on flute.
Okay, great. And how many records have you put out over the last 4 years?
I'd say we've done about I think it's about 6 or 7. We're on various we're on several different labels. We're on French labels, American labels, Taiwanese, Thailand or Vietnamese labels. We're all over. We're all over the place.
And playing or gigs coming up?
Well, basically, there's maybe one. We have one more coming up on at least until the fall. We're playing Dennis the Menace's birthday party at Multiculti in Chicago, and we fall somewhere in the middle. That's usually how we look at it.
Cool. I haven't been there, but I'm somewhat familiar with the venue.
Oh, it's a great venue. It's a great venue.
It was actually Sid that I brought into the space at one point. We were making these black and white conspiracy mockery films, and that was a lot of fun. We made about 23 of them. You can get them at drnothing.com.
That's right. That's right. And they're actually available for sale.
The films?
Yeah, it's called Volume 1. Sid.
Okay.
It's all the episodes with Sid included.
And music by?
Well, it's not.
No music.
They're silent films, but the tracks that we use for the silent films is by this guy Jason Shaw, and it's very mystic sounding music.
Okay, great. Do you guys want to do another number then, or anything else to mention for the band currently that's going on?
Anything to mention for the band? Well, I should tell you about the band and how I conduct the band.
That would be good.
I use
because our listener audience can't really see what I'm seeing here, the conducting going on.
Yeah, I use physical gestures, and I've got a system that I've developed over the past maybe 3.5 years or so. I have over 75 gestures, or everyday physical gestures you would use with mostly. Right now I do hands, but I have been known to do mouth, tongue, eyes, nose, knees, feet, legs, and derrieres, and that seems to work because everybody understands these. They understand gestures because we use them every day. In everyday use, like I'm using the one now. When you're describing things, you're like throwing balls in the air.
Right, non-verbal cues.
Right, and usually we don't always have the same players, which is a really great thing about what I feel is a great thing for the band. It's always different players.
So it's a revolving collective of henchmen.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and it's kind of. As I say, I like it that way. I really like it that way. I mean, recently we had about 12 players, and in the fairly big gigs, sometimes we do get a fair amount of players, but sometimes we've had as low as 2 players, which is interesting, like a percussion guy, and Yitn was on that gig when we had percussion and violin, and I was conducting a piece over Skype, which is kind of an interesting concept.
So all the music is written, or
It's-
half improv?
It's all improvised, and whatever is in my head, whatever I'm feeling at the moment, that's sort of my staff sheet. Because honestly, I can't read music. I've tried several times, but I can't read it, so I know it music by rhythm and pitch and speed and sound, and that's the only way I know how to
Interpret it.
Yeah, interpret it and maneuver around into it, which is the best way to say it, I suppose.
Yeah, an intuitive approach to music.
Yeah, it's I suppose it's like John Cage and Frank Zappa would be sort of a best way to if you were to try to describe us. I guess that's what we're sort of in those realms of those two men. We've had a lot of players over the years. I mean, I've had they've all kind of graduated or gone their separate ways, and sometimes we get one guy, and then of course we have others that tend to stick around, and that's fine with me. We rarely rehearse. We've only had 4 rehearsals, but when we rehearse and when we get to the real thing, it doesn't even sound like the rehearsal. So
Okay. So some of the players that come in and play for the first time are playing at a performance for the first time.
Yeah. In fact, if I can, probably the best example is Yitn here, because we had played previously in a band, and he joined my band, and I think he considered more himself of a novice. Is that pretty true?
At the beginning of this band, yeah.
Yeah, and now now he's a lot better. He's so much better. I mean, he's past the amateur. He's not an amateur. He's not an amateur by any means.
I wouldn't have thought so hearing him play. That it was,
He's good.
figured he was classically trained or something.
Yeah.
He's mentally classically trained by me.
Thank you for lying for me.
No.
I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, well yeah, absolutely. Got to bring
It's
us
just
all
my
up.
ears.
Yeah. And everybody else brings their own sort of their experience to the group. Other people play in other bands or other things, so it's kind of our music is sort of more of an acquired taste, I think, is one way to say it. We look like comedy. We probably sound like it too. We look like comedy, but I take this very seriously, but it doesn't always look like that.
Would you describe it? Are you familiar with the Nihilist Spasm Band? NSB. They're a group back in the 60s doing anti-music, like Dadaist music, so it's not necessarily music for music's sake, but music for art's sake, and it's still music, whether people's ears can interpret it as such. To maybe musically trained musicians, they're like, oh, it's anti-music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of atonality, and I have a special appreciation for that, having grown up on a piano that was always out of tune. So I acquired the taste at an early age, but a lot of people acquire that taste later on because they're conditioned to this specific set of tonalities. But really, the emphasis is the relationship between the tonalities that makes it music.
Right. Like Nihilist Spasm Band would play unusual washboards or kazoos or different things, but it's still musical when you're listening to it, even if it doesn't make sense to 99% of the listeners that may, find Celine Dion as what they would call music. Based on how it
Well, there's
harmonizes.
There's a thought to be compared to Celine Dion.
No, that's the other spectrum of it. That's that side where she wouldn't do anything atonal.
Yeah, anti-Celine. Yeah.
She wouldn't do anything atonal. And then, Diamant Glass would be on another
Do something more
spectrum.
anal with it.
That would be Diamant Glass would be the other end of it, where it's still vocal music. It's hard to describe what her music is. It's avant-garde cabaret, but it's still music.
Yeah, it's like
Down to the basic chord, it's still music.
it's kind of like Elvis. It's like Elvis on television fumes, I suppose.
Or Resonance doing Elvis.
Yeah.
Another thing that I might want to add is that Remember Frank Zappa? When he first came out, some people said no commercial potential. He did an album called No Commercial Potential. It became very famous, and he used to direct the band just like Sid does. He directed his band, and he took music that was not commercial, that was a little bit out there, and made it happen.
Yeah, the strangest part for me is I'm still getting up to speed. Like my heroes is kind of what I'd like to put into the band eventually, like Spike Jones, you know, who did things split second. Now, granted, we don't do split second. I would love to see that. That's going to happen one of these days. But for the moment, I'm working at this level. But and Fats Waller is another one. All the novelty jazz acts are kind of like brought me to sort of here where I'm at now with this system. I mean, my experience is I tried out some years ago for the the sound painting, the Weave Orchestra, which is the Walter Thompson School of Sound Painting, and it was in Chicago back in '05. I think I had to learn something like.
They were at the Music Circus.
Yeah, and they had a group.
Yeah, they performed in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think I had to learn something like 100 gestures in like 6 weeks. And I think I only got to 60, and that wasn't good enough. And they told me, hey, you know, you're just like John Zorn. He couldn't figure it out either. And then later on, the Scratch Orchestra, where they based almost their whole playing system on gestures, and they would also take non-musicians who couldn't, you know, carry a tune or whatnot, or whatever they consider musicians, and kind of mix them all together with the musicians, and it kind of sounds like a nice bowl of you know, Cap'n Crunch with Wheaties, you know. Yeah. So I guess that's where I draw my influences from primarily, and that's how I more or less know White Rye here, is because I met him, I think, through Chicago Composers Forum and
Scratch Orchestra.
Scratch Orchestra as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But you were also at the original Music Circus, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Or the original one that I produced
Yeah,
in 2005 at the MCA. And that is...
I was there too.
You were there too? You were in this
I
band?
wasn't playing.
No.
I was there just to
Oh,
say-
yeah.
Because-
Were you holding your ears like a few other people that I saw?
Yeah.
Extremely loud and a million things happening at the same time.
I think Yitn was there. You were there. It was at the cultural. Was at the cultural center.
The second one, 2007, was at the cultural center.
That's the one we did. I did the stuff with the Furbies.
Right. Furbies.
Yeah.
I've heard of the Scratch Orchestra, but I'm not sure from where.
Comes out of the original Scratch Orchestra came out of Cornelius Cardew's work.
Okay.
And it was, as you described, Sid, it was a group of professional musicians as well as amateurs, almost non-musicians, but there was a common goal to improvise, and sometimes people would bring scores in, they would conduct and whatnot, but a lot of graphic scores, and the big piece was the Cardew's treatise, and it's, I don't know, what is it, a couple hours or hours and hours? At any rate, it's a beautiful score, and that was one piece, but everyone would bring and work together. So it was kind of a community as well. It wasn't just a hierarchical top-down. Everyone had a chance to lead and to organize a concert. And in fact, it was intentional, originally intended that the youngest people would create the programming. So it was kind of a bottom-up effort in a lot of ways.
And is it still going?
The original one, no.
Or any Scratch Orchestra still in existence?
The Chicago Scratch Orchestra had a little bit of a life, but I don't know if it's still active.
They play once in a while.
It's an extremely difficult effort, actually, to get people in the same place and to work non-hierarchically.
And where would they usually play, or if they do know, do you know?
The latest thing they did was at Ragdale, I believe, the Ragdale Foundation, they were out there. Lake
Yeah,
Forest.
do they still call that the Scratch Orchestra there though?
I
don't know.
No, I don't think they did, it was like an offshoot, might have been an
Yeah.
offshoot of it.
But
Yeah,
still,
I mean, it's also, things have come out of that too, so it's a good ground for things to boil in and to cook in or to grow from. And so a lot of people met each other and then they go off and they do something, so it still has that kind of a community to it.
great. So, do you guys want to do another number then?
Absolutely.
You ready?
Oh, yes, I'm ready. You ready there, Doc?
Oh, just getting ready. 2 seconds.
All right.
And for listeners, if they don't know, Cornelius Cardew was one of the composers from AMM, right? Piano player.
He was English composer.
But AMM was the group he was part of.
Yeah.
And then he passed away, and John Tilbury was
Yeah,
the
yes,
other
yes.
piano player that came through. Because I know
Yes.
there was an AMM thing that used to happen down at the University of Chicago, and Eddie Prevost, who still runs AMM, drummer, would come and do some concerts once in a while, and it would probably be with John Tilbury if it's still a piano player. But Cardew, kind of left AMM and just hit another level of composer that was beyond. People might know who AMM are, but they know about Cardew as a composer more than they know AMM anymore.
Died way too young.
It was a band, Paul McCartney used to drive around and follow their panel truck that just said AMM.
Yeah. Right.
And in 1965, and they would play transistor radios and, take out the inside of pianos and play the parts on the floor or whatever. The complete improv. But composed, I guess, instant composition is the word. So what are we going to hear now?
We are going to hear 2 a.m. drunk dial call from Trinidad.
All right. 2 a.m. drunk dial call from Trinidad. Here on A Joyful Noise. This is Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen live.
Look, I'm getting tired of the games here. Who are you? Tell me who you are. I don't have all night, you know. Look, I'm getting really mad. I'm gonna find out, you know. I hope you're not those boys from Trinidad. You know what we do to boys from Trinidad, don't you?
That's 2 a.m. drunk dial call from Trinidad, from Sid Yiddish and his candy store Henchmen, live here on A Joyful Noise. So where does most of the inspiration come from in your subject matter?
Well, that, you're probably asking about that. That actually happened early this morning. These guys were drunk, and so they decided to call me. And it turns out I knew them, but they kept me up till about 4 o'clock, you know. It was, you know, they, first I didn't know who they were, and they kept telling me, you know, come to Trinidad, man, come to Trinidad, man, come to Trinidad. You know, I'm like, okay, who are you? And then I discovered who they were. So most of the inspirations comes from social media or the newspaper or things I hear on the radio or things in the street or.
And can be very fresh material in this case.
Yeah.
Less than 24 hours old.
Yeah, literally. And sometimes it could be on somebody's clothes or something, you know, just something. Sometimes it's just a total inanimate object or something. I'll make up like a title. I have one title that I have is something called High Fructose Corn Syrup Snake, and another one I have, which is this is a simple one. I just saved $80 by switching to Geico. So you know, I mean, it's just kind of that simple or something. I guess whatever on my mind at that point, that's kind of where it's at. But I've amassed this sort of giant collection of composition titles. But specifically, there are a couple that do sound similar to that, you know, whatever the title is or whatever the composition is, they'll sound similar. Even if we have only 4 people, or, you know, technically 5 with me, it'll still sound the same, so.
It would be kind of like Gail Zappa used to say, Frank Zappa, she's like, it's all just one song. Just a continual piece, and there'd be different parts of some things, but...
Well, we've done some cover songs too. Specifically, we've done Beatles. We did, I think in one performance we did A Day in the Life. We also did Yellow Submarine, which is sort of like a minor hit for us. And I think we've done some other ones too. Like sometimes I'll pull something, like I'll just read text or something like that. Like there's one that's called Harold Camping Was Right, and where I read his speech about the end of the earth, and I think we did it. What did we do? Was it like a month before he?
Before he passed?
Yeah.
So improv to a speech.
Yeah.
Kind of like the punk band The Replacements used to do this same little jazzy, bluesy jam every night, and the lead singer Paul Westerberg would pull out the local paper and read the want ads
Yeah.
to
The
improv.
Yeah, the Slam Watusis used to do that too.
Same thing?
Yeah, well, Frank would. I think it was not Frank. Be like Lee Popa would read or something, and then Frank would be on the saxophone. He'd blow his saxophone.
Just kind of make it up off the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. So, something like that. So
So do you have another number you want to do?
yeah, let's do a Henchman standard.
Is that a standard?
Oh yes, we do have standards. We do have standards. I know that's our
You
one to
have
believe.
standards?
So we're going to do this one that is called 90-minute Delay on the Eisenhower. I think that if you live in Chicago or certainly the suburbs, you know what it's like if you've ever driven down 90 and in the middle of a snowstorm or when it rains. And people in this town tend to forget what it's like to drive, you know.
Has anybody covered any of your compositions?
Yes, as a matter of
So then
fact.
they can be standards.
Well, there are standards according to the standards of which I measure things, but we have had a, it's like I've got a,
Subjectives.
it's like I have a ruler in my brain, that's how I measure things. I don't go by the standard of whatever the standard might be of the standard whatever it was or whatever.
Well, you know what
standard
they
could
call
be.
like a standard, like Summertime or something, and 80 artists have covered it and it becomes a standard.
Yeah,
If more than one person has covered a song, it could be a standard of sorts.
well,
3 even more.
we could split hairs here and say what is a standard,
Right, yeah.
Standard, right?
Right.
We could play a tune about standards, right?
But this is one of your standards.
Yeah, this is one of our regular tunes. But
By which all things are measured.
that's correct. That's correct. There is a guy in Australia, in Adelaide, who has been inspired by our work. He's our most rabid fan.
Great.
And he's taken some of our material and played off of that. So
Now, would this be an eastbound version or westbound?
how about if I said northbound? Northbound lanes of the east, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, the Eisenhower? Okay.
Yeah, the east looking west.
I'm trying to remember which one I've had more delays on. The worst ones would be the westbound, but the eastbound would be every day.
The way you look at it is drive down it and then let it start raining and then let it start snowing. 90 minutes, boom, just like that.
Or drive down it like I would at 2 in the morning when you figure no one should be there, and they decide to close all but one lane.
Yeah,
And then you're there
And
for
then
90
you're still
minutes.
there. Yeah.
At 2 in the morning when you want to go home.
right. You figure it's only going to be, 10 minutes to go home?
Should be,
Right.
ideally.
Ideally. Well, there's no such thing as ideals with us, right?
We have ideals.
Well, we
When
do.
we don't have standards.
Right. Well, we do have standards. We don't have the Standard Oil building, but that's another kind of standard. All right. So this is 90-minute Delay on the Eisenhower, and this is going to feature everybody, I think. And those of you at home who couldn't show up tonight, you can just sing along. We'll never make it. You're listening to WRRG, radio home of millions throughout Mid-America.
That's the piece 90-minute Delay on the Eisenhower, live from Sid Yiddish and his candy store Henchmen here on Triton College Radio. Would you like to reintroduce the band for listeners that may have just joined us?
Might have tuned in late.
Right.
Yeah, this is on percussion and back scratcher and and wooden flute. This is Dennis the Menace on. Well, you know, it's a good instrument, back scratching. And on violin with orange wig, bright orange wig I had. This is Yitn Mitn Fidl. And on, I guess these are flutes, right? One's
an alto.
Oh, one's an alto, and one's a
C flute.
right. Okay, so on flutes, on real flutes, metal flutes, I call them, I suppose. This is white Rye The Plumber. And on foot keyboard and toy piano, Dr. Nothing. And on me, I played shofar, slide whistle, vocals, conducting, and tambourine.
Right. And last big question, what are your future goals for the band?
Well,
Stardom.
yeah, well, we've gone past that. We've gotten past that.
Hey, where's the money?
Yeah, right, exactly. There's no money. There's no money. No,
Movie rights?
Yeah.
Movie rights,
Movie
yeah.
rights. Well, yeah, that would
We're doing a
be.
remake of Help.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Inspire a new generation.
Actually, future plans. We have a new CD coming out, holiday CD. It's called Freilach, which is Yiddish for. It's a nice way of saying "Merry, Happy, Merry," which it'll be all holiday songs. From a recording we did at Phyllis's on 12/12/12. So we've got that, and we've got some other projects in the works. I don't like saying this way, but I tend to shut down during the school year because the school year is about to start for me because I'm a grad student at Columbia. But so we'll still get a gig here and there, but it's sort of open and shut at this point. But keep making music. That's what we're here for. Is keep making music.
Right. What's your emphasis at Columbia?
It's interdisciplinary arts and media. So I'm a second year now for the second time. So.
And does that inspiration overlap into the band?
Well, I'll tell you, I taught the Henchmen method. I brought into the classroom. I started teaching there, and it's more or less, it's kind of either gone over flat or gone over and flown. And I've since taught it in Kansas City, in Brooklyn, and Kenosha. Kenosha had a street corner at a street fair, and in Kansas City, Improvisers, I think that was the best performance. I'd ever seen it. The one in Brooklyn, on the other hand, I put together a punk drummer, an accordion player, a punk rock vocalist, and an improviser. And I'll be honest with you, I was afraid for the punk rock drummer because I thought he was going to break right through those drums because he was so nervous. He was just banging so hard on him. Kind of like when a kid keeps marching back and forth and you think they're going to go through the floor. It's the same it's the same logic, But really, one of my goals is to continue to bring the method to different cities around the United States, and also, for that matter, for the world, and to keep making music and to keep annoying people. So that's what we tend to do sometimes for people who don't get us.
Right. Is there videos that people can find?
Yeah, if they go to YouTube, they can find me. My username is Poetmonk, Poetmonk. So they can, but if they look up Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen, they will find probably over, easily I can say over 100 videos they will find.
All live or like actual videos?
It's all, well, they were live shows.
Okay.
I guess you.
Not like a, you know what I mean, like a video. Or produced.
You mean like a? We have no produced films.
Not yet.
No, well, except there are bits and pieces in this new documentary of mine called Sid Yiddish, and you see the Henchmen in a couple of shots in the film, but there's no real slick things per se. Everything is improvised and done live and filmed and recorded right there on the spot.
Right.
So.
So I might discuss